Okay, well that's drying. I'll show you what I did here. I'm planning to put LEDs on both sides of the vertical stabilizer, so I made a modification to this by cutting all the trusses off and then adding another piece in there so I have room for the LEDs to go inside this slot. And these have LEDs on both sides, so it'll light up both directions on there. And I have the doublers glued on here now. I didn't punch the little U shape out because that's where you can stick a rubber band in to hold the wing down, but I'm bolting my wing down, so I left those in and glued the edges so that they would glue in, and then this little doubler I did the same thing too. That's the top of the fuselage in the back, goes this way. And this is the bottom of the fuselage in the back. There are two pieces that go up front, up here in the nose, and then this hatch I glued this is a plywood tab and then just a reinforcement, and then I glued that U shape where the rubber band goes in the front because I'm not using that. And that hatch will go underneath those two pieces. And then the bottom of the fuselage is plywood to give it some strength when it comes skidding on for the landing. So remember to keep checking off your instructions and check off those steps that are completed. So check that step off. So we're ready to start step number 4 now. So step 4, I need a little scrap piece to pull this together, and then I need to pull the front together. And to pull that together, it should be done over this part of the plan where it shows the top view so that you can get it to the correct shape for that top view. So I'm just gonna have to move some things around so that I can make that work. Actually, these are done. They can actually go in there. Make some more room. Alright, so I'm going to move this over to directly over the plan so that I can get everything pulled together and glued properly. So I'm probably going to stop for a second because I want to move the wax paper over to that top view of the plan. So I'll be right back. Okay. So I moved the wax paper, the fuselage is over the top view of the fuselage on the plan, and now we're going to glue first we're going to start with the nose and glue the nose, this piece, into where the nose goes, or bring the nose together, I should say. So there's 2 notches. The notches go to the bottom. grain goes crossways, and that's going to get glued in right like that. So what we want to do is we want to pull the nose so that it lines up over the fuselage, or over the plan. So let's get this glue. Actually, I'm gonna, before I put the glue on, I'm gonna put some tape on one side. It's ready. Glue on each side. Down to the tight. There. This side tight. Okay. That lines up perfectly right over the plan. On the back, we just took a scrap piece and we're just gonna put a little bit of glue, because this goes and holds the tail together. You don't want it to move around the two sides up or down or shift left or right, so you want a little glue, but this is gonna get cut out later because that's where the control horn for the elevator goes. The push rod goes directly down the center and comes out right there, and the elevator control horn actually slides in and out of this slot, so you need enough room for that elevator control horn. And later we drill a 1/4-inch hole at the bottom for the clevis that attaches to the control horn. So that happens later on, but for now we don't want to put too much glue because we're going to have to cut this out later. So just kind of just a little dot of glue, and we need some on each side just so that it doesn't shift around, but you don't want to use too much because it has to get removed later. So it's basically just a spacer. And we want you could shift the two right now before it dries. Try and line up the fuselage, and then while you're doing this, push down on so that the two bottoms are lined up too. Right now Mine are up off the plan because I have all that weight in the front. But I'm just going to stick a pin in each side. I can find some pins that aren't glued together. Pin in each side, and then sight through and make sure those line up superimposed over the plan. Okay, so there we go. We got the fuselage glued together. So I'll let that dry out and I'll come back in a little bit. Okay, so the fuselage is glued together now. Now we're going to glue these little hatch rest pieces, and there's a flat side and a curved side, and the flat side goes towards former number 2. And so these just glue right on there. I'm not going to put glue on these tabs that stick up. They're just there to space it the right distance down, and they'll get cut off later. So just going to put glue on the part that we want glued and leave those without glue. So it goes right up against former 2. Right, these little tabs go right up to the top of the fuselage, and then it just glues right on there. And I do have some, let's see, some clamps I use, which are just clothespins, so they work pretty good for holding pieces in place while the glue is drying. So we'll do that. Put glue on this one. Beeping. Put the flat part against former 2. Push flush with those tabs. This space is at the right distance for the hatch. The hatch sits on these pieces right here. Okay, so we'll let that dry, then we'll cut those tabs off, but I gotta take care of this beeping. Okay, so this has had time to dry, so I'm taking the clamps off. So now we can cut off these tabs off of there are these rails that hold the hatch, so you just cut them off. Just continue they're not glued to the top, so I mean to the side, so it can just be cut right off. one side cut off. Okay, so those are cut off. All right, now